Welcome back to Malaysian Riders TV, or if this is your first time watching, hello there. This is our second round coverage of the Pirelli Malaysian Superbike Championship 2015. In conjunction with the World Superbike round, local motorsports fans will be able to enjoy great quality showing from both the local competition as well as the international superstars of the WSBK. So let's get down to the action from Friday's qualifying. Let's start with the Superstock category qualifying result. It was a pretty much competitive time being clocked by most of the mid-table riders, as we see the top riders like Steve Martin, Ahmad Nasrul and Nasaruddin conveniently securing their spot in the first row. Mohammad Razi Omar of R&D Plus Racing Team, followed by his teammate Hasno Rizal, looking confident with their machine during qualifying, with Ku Chi Yen completing the lineup on row 2. It will be a huge starting grid for Superstock racing with both A and B segments going on at the same time. So now let's move on to see how they fare in their race on both Saturday and Sunday. Race 1 on Saturday saw Steve Martin remain untouchable with his pace throughout the weekend. So here are the results of race 1 from Superstock category. The second race saw Steve once again dominating the race and even clocking a faster time than race 1 on board his Kawasaki ZS10R. He finishes this time in front of Ahmad Nasrul, who fought back to get his podium finish, while Hasno Rizal of R&D Plus Racing Team securing the third place. In Superstock B, a slight change of position can be seen from the finisher, with Ridwan Hussein comfortably winning the race in front of both Komorn and Yung Panche after completing the 10 laps race. We apologize for the lack of footage, as we were restricted to film the action due to the World Superbike Championship being held on the same day. Now let's move on to the Supersports category. 600cc sports bike roaring across Sepang Circuit as the Supersports category makes their way for the Friday qualifying, and saw a great showdown from all the Bike Art Racing Kawasaki team, in which they dominated the first row of the grid for both race 1 and race 2 starting lineup. Let's have a look at the result from qualifying session then. A pretty much expected lineup for Superstock A, but we can see Azhar Muhammad Noor will be leading the charge for Superstock B, starting from 10th position on the grid. It was as if round 1 all over again. Farid Badrul and Hazlan Shah up against each other, while Muzaki finds himself in a lonely race in 3rd position, and thus having an all Bike Art Racing Kawasaki conquering the podium spots for race 1. On to the second race. It was simply an unbelievable show by Hazlan Shah as he pulls off a 15 seconds gap by the end of the race, which saw Farid and Muzaki closely tied together to back home their 2nd and 3rd place trophy. Petronas Yamaha rider Afif and Fitri just had to be happy for scoring points after finishing 4th and 5th respectively, while Fazli Mansour finishing in 6th for Bike Art Racing Kawasaki. Great race from the boys in Supersport, but an even better one to come from the Superbike category. Stay tuned. Zakwan Zaidi. After his premature exit from the World Championship of Moto2, the youngest Asian Supersport champion returns home and starts his way back into some of the local competition. An R&D Plus Racing Team were quick to get his service for the second round of Pirelli Malaysian Superbike Championship. This will be an absolute treat for the fans to see him back in action on the sacred ground of Sepang. He will be going heads-on with Australian top rider Cameron Donnell, Malaysia's veteran star Ahmad Fuad, and also the all-consistent rider Steve Martin of Great Britain. So now let's take a look at the qualifying of the Superbike category. No, it wasn't held in the wet. Those are just from the practice session on Friday before the actual qualifying starts. Some of the best riders in the region will be going through the track, with Cameron Donnell and Zakwan Zaidi as the main attraction for the fans. Going through the qualifying results, we can see that Cameron really lives up to his reputation by grabbing the much needed pole starts with 2 minutes and 12.912 seconds ahead of both Ahmad Fuad and Zakwan Zaidi. Steve Martin will be starting from the second row, with Karhu splitting the Superbike A starter in 5th before Colin Robin after managing a 6th place start for his final race with the Prince Lubricants Racing. On to the first race on Saturday. Exciting stuff here. Great show can be witnessed through a pretty tight battle from the boys up front, and seeing how intense the rider of R&D Plus Racing Team, Zakwan Zaidi, going up against Cameron Donnell of SBR Racing Team, we can see that the result can only be determined at the very last lap of the race. So let's take a look at the final position in race 1. A pretty clear win by Cameron Donald after managing to separate himself in the final stage of the race from Zakwan, followed by a great podium finish by Ahmad Fuad Baharudin of Team Project X. Meanwhile, in Superbike B, Karhu was the clear favourite in front of Gavin McDonald and Ahmad Abbas for second and third respectively. Race 2 began on Sunday afternoon and it was full of surprises. Zakwan Zaidi was determined to make amends from his second place finish in race 1 as he truly gave all his might to make Cameron's life much harder on top of his Suzuki GSSR. As luck would have it, Cameron crashed out of his race on lap 7, giving the easiest task for Zakwan to clinch his win on race 2. It was a big surprise for Colin Robin of Prince Lubricants Racing as he finishes second, and what a memorable way to depart from the championship this year. The final spot on the podium goes to Muhammad Yusni on board his Kawasaki ZX-10R by being more than 46 seconds off Zakwan Zaidi. Superbike B saw the Archean by Impulse Team rider Karhu finishing on the top spot, while Muhammad Najib of HKM Times Bike Racing Team finishing second, followed by Lo Wei Der of Bikeart Racing Kawasaki completing the podium finisher. As we bring the highlight to the end, we would like to encourage more people to join us on the upcoming round in Sepang to watch the exciting Pirelli Malaysian Superbike Championship and get to know more about the riders. Who knows, it might just be your neighbour who is racing. Well, I'm Rashid signing off from Malaysian Riders. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.